Welcome back, Think Strong Pod. Here we are again, Bread and Butter Podcast, the OGs. How are you doing today, Macca?
Very good, very good. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Ready for a voluptuous flow of intellectual dialect.
Fitness chat.
Yeah, and all things related. First topic question, we're going to get straight into it. What makes a good amateur athlete? Obviously, everything that we kind of touch on, sports, high rocks, CrossFit, there's a whole lot of athletes, people pretending to be athletes, myself included, probably yourself included. We all enjoy the process of pretending to be a full-time athlete somewhat. So yeah, it's quite intertwined with everything we do. What do you think makes a good amateur athlete?
Well, obviously top of the list would be bright coloured running trainers. Oakley sunglasses represent. No, I'm joking.
A crippling flat white addiction.
I think what makes a good amateur athlete, somebody that does the basics well, which we touch on a lot, but also understanding what's needed, I guess. Do the basics properly, actually train with some good intent. Don't just turn up to the gym and do whatever someone else is doing or whatever. Have an understanding or a curiosity into like what they're doing and ask people around them, coaches, and then build on that, I guess, as a starting point.
Yeah, no, for sure. Obviously, there's got to be an element of just pure athleticism at its core, really, hasn't there? Like, probably that comes from childhood, doing sports, being active, and probably not thinking about things too much. But when it does progress into like a point where they have to take charge of their own progress a little bit, maybe having the clarity to be able to say what's missing, and maybe the solidarity maybe to be able to be humble about what they're lacking in their program, and to be able to take a step back and say, okay, maybe I need to shift my focus towards this.
I think what we're lucky with is growing up we had sport.
Yeah.
It just teaches you, one, how to conduct yourself properly, one, how to want to do things correctly, and two, just be able to go to a place where you want to hurt a little bit, and you know kind of what's on the other side of it. Because if you never ever go to that place of like hurting a little bit, your boundary or your horizon never moves, does it? It's like as soon as things get hard, I'm going to stop there.
Yeah. Because you've got no perception of the end point. You think it's just going to carry on forever, and it's almost like feels like the worst thing you've ever gone through, because potentially it is. But until you build that tolerance for it, just by doing it.
100%. And I think sport gives you that. Well, that kind of like competitive sport that you do. It's like, if you play tennis growing up, it's not going to give you the same edge as if you play rugby or football or something that's a little bit more competitive and, I don't know, contact a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, do you think you get that? I guess if you play tennis at a high level, you might have that level of hurt in the fitness sense, but...
Yeah, maybe even not so much physically, but I'm sure there is an element of that. Technical aspect of like pushing yourself to execute, to be really, really precise with everything you're doing and hold standards to that. Yes, I think physical attributes and like the physical grit that has to go into certain things, football, rugby, plenty of other sports as well. But that is probably one of the biggest things as well, I think, is standards, and maybe in a team sport environment, that's something you're not gonna get quite so much in an individual sport, because it's not just yourself. You're responsible to hold those standards for other people as well.
Yeah, I guess that's where working with a good coach holds you to that standard as well, right?
Yeah. So
like, if you are an individual athlete, or even I have a friend who trained at a gym in Australia, and training is, I guess, an individual sport, as you would say, even if you're just going to the gym. But if you're going to a group class environment, they're not necessarily like teammates, they're just people that you see. But if there's someone within that group that holds a good standard, and then everyone else comes up to that standard, that is also a good way of breeding a good community and an amateur athlete, so to speak.
Yeah, I think that's probably something that's quite ingrained with us and other people that have done team sports, is the importance of standards, whether you are in the gym training on your own or if you're outside, actually performing the sport. We kind of see by default how it bleeds into everything else. And you can kind of tell. I've been on teams before in like a CrossFit sense, where people have never actually been on a team, and this doesn't really affect their ability to perform, but it's like the things around how you would encourage someone else, or how you would like move a bar out of the way, or just be like be present in your rest times, or things like that, where it's like, oh, I need to, like, my job isn't done almost. It's I still got to be an active part of the team. Just because I'm not doing thrusters, it doesn't mean a job's over. Yeah,
I've definitely seen that in teams as well. Just the way people respond to like encouragement that they take as criticism as well. I think like if you've been in a team sport, it's like if someone's having a go at you, it's because they want you to do better and come up to like your standard, instead of just fold in half in the corner and cry like a baby.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like if someone's asking you to do something, it's probably to make you better rather than just to shit on you.
I'm sure we've both exchanged coarse words with like teammates which we're actually really good friends with, and it never leaves the pitch. But sometimes if you're to do that in a woke CrossFit gym, it might not be quite the same.
Yeah, it's very true. Yeah, sometimes I often use the phrase, "Are you taking the piss?" Like when coaching, when there's somebody that you have a good relationship with, but they might be taking it a little bit too easy on that day, and they'll soon put their head down and walk over to a significantly heavier dumbbell.
Wade through the crocodile tears over to the 22 kg dumbbell.
Yeah.
Nice one. No, that's a good little take on the psychological side of things. What you take from team sports, and kind of how you apply it to culture. But how about kind of training methodology when we look at what makes a good amateur athlete? I've got here noted down the ability to generally physically prepare.
Yeah.
We kind of know that's quite a big underpinning of strength and conditioning in general, and strength and conditioning, all training really. But I've touched on it before, how the overuse of specificity can be the downfall of a whole lot of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that kind of GPP style of training, as it's called, that we just called training back in the day when we were growing up, is so important. Like outside of when you played rugby when you were growing up, and outside of when I played football, I know that my training was not specific to the sport at all when I first started out, and then as your education grows and you get into it, it becomes more specified in the right areas. But then like off season, it was about like getting you physically prepared for the demands of like a whole season, rather than just like don't know what you would do, like hopping side to side with a band attached to your hip on the side of a rig because you're a goalkeeper, or do you know what I mean? That specific style of training that we see. There's a few rogue Spanish coaches out there, I think that.
We've all had some traumatizing experiences on the continent.
Or just like heading a ball, like landing on a Bosu at the same time, or just like ridiculous stuff like that. Generally building those general physical qualities needed is so important, but understanding how to do that as well. I'm sure from when you started training and myself, like, I've been squatting since I was like 16, but how my squat looks now to then is completely different. Just through practice of like doing the movement pattern correctly over time. And I think that's what a lot of people miss, that want to be these amateur athletes. You'll see them signing up for a Hyrox or whatever, and they'll miss even developing the pattern, which bleeds into that kind of psychological, not even holding a standard for yourself to be able to do that correctly. I'm sure you've seen plenty of CrossFit classes and functional fitness classes and Hyrox where there'll be wall balls in the workout, and you'll probably see 60% of people doing it wrong.
Yeah. It's that temptation to just to get get distracted by the shiny object, or the lady in the red dress, they sometimes call it. It's like, that might be the intensity, that might be the fancy movement, it might be the thing you've seen on Instagram, which is part of like the 3 things which are going to shave 10 minutes off your high rocks. But at the end of the day, it's about that general physical preparedness. So you have a solid base, you have a solid foundation to then take you into the next step. And so many people skip that very valuable step of building out a foundation, whether it is strength, whether it is aerobically,
even like coordination.
Yeah,
it's like such a big thing, right? The ability to like use your brain under fatigue in a workout environment is, it's like, if you broke down all the movements that we have in CrossFit or functional fitness, it could even be just like burpee over the bar, or like a line facing burpee. The way people like coordinate their body around like in space is crazy. The difference that you see sometimes. Yeah,
and there's like, no matter how advanced you get, whether it's a workout that's got ring muscle ups or something as simple as air squats in it, there's always a way that you can move better within that, that most basic movement. So being blasé about it is definitely at your own detriment. Even now, I'm probably someone who's got every CrossFit movement you could name, but doesn't mean I'm stopping to think about how I'm moving at any point. And that bleeds over to so much. It's quite funny. I was actually watching an old video of me doing a workout with some bar muscle ups in, and my bar muscle up capacity obviously wasn't very high back then, and I was listening to the way I was breathing through it, and it was just awful to even come across. It was just so erratic, so like everything was like a strength or a power movement, as opposed to now, where capacity is much bigger, and it's like it's aerobic. Yes, I'm keeping tension in the right places, but breathing through, keeping the demand low, so I'm managing that overall global fatigue to be able to move on to the next thing, and it's just all a much more well-oiled machine, as opposed to just huffing and puffing and making some horrendous grunts. Don't get me wrong, that still happens sometimes, but yeah, I think, but you've been through that full like continuum. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you start here and you have the goal there, and then you park the goal, and then you're like, what do I need to do now to get to that? I'll learn how to do these fundamentals properly first, because you have the right mindset from the start. Then it's like, do that, then link it into a little bit more intensity, gradually build it, and keep refining that technique to get to where you are now. And I think it's really important to touch on what we're talking about on the pod. Is we're talking to an audience of people that actually want to get better. Yeah. Not the people that just want to go to the gym and do exercise for like a couple of minutes to feel better and get back on with their day, which is absolutely fine. Also, it's not like we have a problem with that, and we're not like bashing on them people. Yeah. But if you want to actually get better at what you're doing, then these are the people that we're kind of talking to and talking like through these topics about. Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree. And that's something that happens at every level as well. And at every level that you try to progress or move up through, whether it's a movement that's like technical or, mainly just a movement that's technical, there's an opportunity for you to forget about a prerequisite or like a foundational part of that movement, because you think you've kind of surpassed it. The amount of people which can do like bar muscle ups or things like that, which I coach, which I'm telling them to do like some of the basic things that actually form part of the kit, the very first part of the movement, which they're forgetting to do. It happens to everyone, it's very easily done, but you've got to almost have that awareness to every single building block throughout, and be willing to address that. Otherwise, like, you will reach a ceiling if you're just looking for the next step, without addressing those prerequisites. Yeah, I think gymnastics is probably the most overlooked thing from just the starting point of any movement. Like, people can do toes to bar, but they'll enter it by jumping up to the bar with a really poor contact position with their hands and just dead hanging, and then starting their kit from there. And it's like, that's like you telling someone to go back to the basics and not just focus on this first to be able to jump into your first rep.
How do you expect to do well in a workout if you're spending like 20 seconds before you've even started getting yourself in a right position?
Exactly that, and that's lady in the red dress, isn't it? That's thinking you're going to do a set of 30 before you've nailed your hollow to your arch position. But yeah, you're probably coming away from the details of too many movements. Kind of next thing I've got on my list here of potentially what makes people a good amateur athletes is having the ability to separate training from competition in kind of in both senses. You've got the ability to be able to rip the lid off in a competition and go to that next level of intensity, but then there's the flip side of that. How have you kind of experienced that in your both competing and training environments?
Yeah, I think growing up, if I take it back to when I was playing football, it was always like train as you will play, especially towards that back end of the week. Like everything should be sharp and at full speed. When I was like really young, 13 through to 16, and then probably all the way to like 18, I had the same manager. So I was quite lucky that we had some like consistency with him, and he was very big on you just train as you play. I'm not sure how it was with you in rugby, but that's like a mindset that got instilled, but that's not really something that you can take with you into an individual sport, so to speak.
No,
so like
right.
Towards competitions, you dial things in and start training more so towards that, and that's going to look more like the competition itself. But apart from that, just building your general qualities and knowing when to peel back and build up, especially as I'm getting older now. I think I have this conversation with you before, but I remember when I was 18 playing football and I saw the lads that were like 30 and they're just moaning about their knees aching, and I was like, that'll never be me.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah.
32 years old and creaking as I get out of bed. So yeah, it's just knowing when you can add intensity into your training and make that look like the competition. I obviously have a comp in 8 weeks now, so things are starting to turn, dials going up, and things are looking more like what it's going to look like on race day.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think kind of coming at it from a rugby background perspective, perhaps because of the nature of contact, we had to manage that physicality a little bit more, so to bleed over to training for physical outcomes. Perhaps there was a little bit more to take from that, in that our standards had to be exactly how we would play. We'd have to really make the effort to have no handling errors, to be nailing plays, calls, things like that, but with the challenge of reduced contact intensity, because quite simply, if you're smashing people on a Thursday night, which it would happen, but it's not ideal to keep your players fit late in the season before a game on a Saturday. So that bleeds over to movement standards, perhaps making sure that there are never any no reps. You are always moving to your best quality, even if you are tapering intensity, deloading. At every opportunity, you're banking the quality that you want to put on show on game day, comp day, whatever it is. But then physically having the experience, having earned that experience to be able to have a bit of nuance within your training week, so you can self-regulate a little bit more. You can push harder when you need to, you can pull back when you need to, but also towing that line of not being a bitch, not doing it because it's a habit from pulling back, which is a very difficult thing to do. And then, like what you said, that's where a coach in maybe a more individual setting is going to draw the line, and for either way, for whether you are being a bitch or for whether you are needing to pull back a bit.
Yeah, I think now you can see that more on the coaching side of things. We've both had coaches that have been able to like push us and pull us back a little bit as well, which is good. With that training intensity, what we see a lot is people think they're training at some kind of intensity that they might use on race day, and then in functional fitness this is quite a big thing. People just train as they would normally, then it gets to the competition, and their first like 10 minutes of that competition they're at such a high threshold because they don't know how to manage their adrenaline on the day, or they haven't done any pacing work or anything like that. develop those qualities needed. Like you said, it might be physical, but mental, tactical, could be any of those things. And then 10 minutes in, they're fucked because they've got 50 minutes left of whatever they're doing, and they've already come to the top of the cliff and they've fallen off.
Yeah, no, it's a tough one, because you do have to train it as a trait, and ideally with a coach helping you to do that. But nothing fully substitutes for the experience of doing it.
Yeah.
So you can't expect your first ever event. I'm not sure anyone would, but I mean, we've definitely met people that kind of allude to it, that expect their first event, CrossFit competition, high rocks race, whatever it is, to be a PB, to be well, probably as a PB because you've never done one before, but a world record maybe.
Yeah.
Thinking it's going to be the performance of a lifetime. It's unrealistic to think that, and like a lot of things, experience really does pay dividends.
Yeah, I think if you are the individual going into that competition, whether it's first CrossFit or whatever it is, having the mindset of like having a target within that, of like, this is going to be my focus for this competition, whether it's to be better at all the gymnastic elements within the competition across the workouts, or to be better at the running in this. That might have been a deficit before, but then that's also when your coach should come in and be like, this is what we're going to focus on your next race, instead of you just trying to improve every single element of that, like of that race. Like when I ran in Hong Kong last year, I'm just going to try and run fast.
Yeah.
And that's it. I'm not too worried about my stations. I know I can get through them with decent times. And I was super consistent through like all of the runs, and they were all pretty similar in terms of pacing and average, so it was good.
I remember what you said to me when you were training for it. You said, I want to actually be running, like not just recovering, like a lot of people like have to, which is fair enough if that's the target, but I thought that was quite cool, that actual running, putting pace down and trying to maintain that is probably a big marker for people in high rocks. Like that's like a milestone moment when you get to a place where it's like, okay, these runs are now being pushed. It's not just a case of recovering or getting through them. Yeah,
that was a big thing I wanted to focus on for that race. The next one I'm doing is doubles. It's going to be fun. Haven't done a doubles for ages. It's way more fun than the singles, right?
Yeah, from my experience.
So I'm going to have fun. And the other guys run like a 109, which is pretty good. So I'm going to try and push him on the running and get his time down, which would be nice.
Was that Louis? Shout out Louis.
Yeah, shout out Louis.
Yeah, hope you've got your jet boots on, mate. Moving swiftly on to some movement standards chat. Who's responsible? We kind of alluded to it already, but in gyms, in competitions, who do you think is responsible?
First and foremost, it's yourself. Second to that is your coach. It's also your responsibility if you don't send everything to your coach. We should probably do a little bit on like clients sending you videos where you can not see any of the movement taking place.
That's something that we
discuss
a lot.
It can't just be us that happens to.
No. Should we pull up some ridiculous moments? I'll go first. What was it? A cable or banded face pull?
Yeah.
So this guy, who will remain anonymous, I don't think he's going to be watching anyway, to be honest. He was propped up the phone in a terrible angle, obviously, to be filming the cable machine. I was like, all right, he's obviously gone for the cable face pull. Proceeded to wrap a band around the cable machine to then perform the face pull, which was also completely out of shot as well. Nice one, mate. You've managed to get one thing wrong 5 times.
Yeah, it's great. Don't use the cable, use the band, and at the wrong angle, and probably performing it wrong.
Yeah, but I don't know, because I couldn't see.
It's probably better that he wasn't at the frame.
Yeah. That's actually a point in his favour.
Yeah. I've had a similar thing with it. It just seems to be face pulls, to be honest.
Yeah.
I might just have to take them out of the programme forever.
Yeah, we'll just retire them as a movie.
Yeah.
Put them in the graveyard.
Fuck your real doubts, anyway.
Yeah, movement standards. It's providing you've got the knowledge, assuming the people listening have. Yeah. But even if they don't, it's about asking and finding out. But to the best of your ability, making sure that you are upholding that. But then, yeah,
competitions is it's pretty bad in CrossFit and in High Rocks.
Yeah.
Everyone's battering the High Rocks wall ball standard, and that I think the CEO or the owner of, I don't know, whoever he is, come out from High Rocks and said the sport is to get like more people involved. Yes, great. And he said they allow the standard to drop. In not in those words, but they allow the standard to drop because said person won't be going to like world championships or whatever. Yeah. But like from our perspective, if you're looking at being able to perform a movement correctly, if someone's at the same level of fitness of that person but they do the movement correctly, it's going to take them longer to do it, right?
Yeah.
So therefore their score is going to be, well, their time is going to be longer within that sport because you've allowed somebody to. So it's like, where do you draw the line? It's like, one, be accountable. Two, just give them a box and sit them on it that's below parallel if they need to. That seems to have been lost a little bit. I've seen people put a box under and then not hit it.
Yeah.
So what's the fucking point? But yeah, and in CrossFit, it's a little bit different. There's more like dynamic movements and there's the nuances.
You've also got slightly more levels in CrossFit,
yeah,
right? You've got scaled, you've got open, you've got even intermediate RX, sometimes RX plus, and then elite. So you can perhaps have a little bit more of an accurate rating or level that you're competing at. But it's difficult. As soon as you step on the floor to be competing against someone else, you want it to be a level playing field, don't you?
Standardized, yeah.
It's like DEI encroaching on the world of fitness. Kind of, do you lower the standard to get more people through, or do you just maintain that standard? And if you don't make it, you don't make it. I can see it from both angles, from a fitness perspective for sure, and can see what they're talking about with High Rocks. But it's it's a difficult one.
Yeah, the thing for me is like long term, that person's not getting any better at what they're doing because they're just doing it. They're just doing it to like a quarter of the rate. Well, sometimes not even that. Do you know what I mean? It's like that person wants to be able to sit down on a chair when they get older and get up. Like their chair's gonna have to be up here if they want to like just hinge forwards and backwards a little bit. So
that's right.
Even looking at it that perspective, it's like
it's almost like a moral question for brands like High Rocks because the other side of it is that the people have paid their money to be there.
Yeah. You pay like $200 a ticket
to be told that you can't squat below parallel, which is probably a real thing that people need to be told, but hard when people are paying your wages, I suppose. Do we need more shit talking in the world of functional fitness? I think we're seeing a little bit more of it from the likes of Hunter McIntyre. Even Jason Hopper, Darlin Pepper, the guys, the top guys from CrossFit, like a bit of good chat. But I feel like people take things quite seriously, and I don't know if it's because the world of functional fitness is now somewhat blended with the world of like transforming not necessarily your physique, obviously it can do that, but also like your lifestyle, like the way you go about things. You've only got to look at like pop culture, what's trendy now, like run clubs and all the things that go with that.
Dating apps.
Run
clubs are dating.
Yeah, sorry. Mobile dating apps, we should call them. But so intertwined with that kind of transformation, that winter arc, the lock-in.
Yeah.
Does that mean that people take things too seriously?
I think they take themselves too seriously.
Yeah.
There's got to be more shit talk.
Maybe that's another thing that can be taken from team sport is the seriousness needed to train well, improve yourself, but also the lightheartedness when you fuck up or when you don't get a result as good as you thought you were going to get. I'm sure we've both been in a situation where we've been called out on things and you just have to take it on the chin no matter how much it hurts you inside.
Yeah, 100%.
Those are tough lessons, but ultimately quite valuable, really.
I think the thing nowadays is everyone just expects everything to go their way.
Yeah.
It's kind of a culture that we're slipping into.
Yeah, that's very true.
They expect to be the best or happy with their result. I mean, if someone posts like on their Instagram, I don't know, you always see like the big jack dudes that coming into functional fitness. They're like, oh, first high rocks like 1 hour 30. You should just be able to say that is shite.
Yeah.
And then not cry about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But then
actually, it's a really slow track, and it's my first one since having a double knee reconstruction.
There was loads of corners. There were so many people.
Yeah, I had my hazard lights on.
Do you know what I mean? It's like there's the thing with fitness. There's so many like different layers to it, right? I might have a client. It's her or his first ever high rocks. Their level of fitness is not that good, so 130 is like a great time for them. And it's being able to be like empathetic with that person and be like positive, like, great job, this is what we're going to do for your next one.
Yeah.
But then on the flip side, you have a mate that does it and you're just like, come on mate, that is shite.
Yeah.
And like people just can't comprehend the difference between like how you approach the conversation.
Yeah. That's what really fucking annoys me, is when you might be you might be having that separation, speaking to a client that's done really well, and then bullying someone that you probably knew was going to get at that time anyway. Yeah. But you know that he can take it or handle it. Like, oh yeah, but that actually makes some people feel really bad. Shut the fuck up. Literally, just bring back a slight element of bullying, and the world might not be in such a dire place.
Yeah, that's just if you put yourself in the position, you'd be like, say something went wrong for you, or if like I ran like I don't know, like slower than a 120 high rocks, you'd be like, fucking hell, are you carrying concrete around with you? Or like,
yeah, you're going to do the next one without a caravan.
Yeah, you're like running in, I said milk turn quicker. Or just like anything like that, do you know what I mean?
Like a P&Q ferry going around the fucking Birmingham NEC. We've all been there, it's fine.
But yeah, definitely bring the shit talk into the functional fitness space.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Any closing thoughts on the podcast? How we're going so far? Topics that we would maybe like to explore, or anything that you think's been valuable that we've explored so far. Bearing in mind, our episodes are going to be a bit jumbled up. That's why we haven't given a number to anything at this stage. So yeah, if you're a confused audience or listener, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, DM us a question about what the order is and we'll tell you we don't know.
Yeah, it's like the Fast and Furious. You can watch it in any order. Yeah, the only difference is we might just have a different colour t-shirt on.
Yeah, or different haircut.
Yeah.
I think the overarching thing about the amateur athlete is just don't be shit and actually care about what you're doing. And you'll progress faster than you think. One good thing about coaching is getting people that have a goal in mind or want to get better at something, and then they can come and work with you, and then you can just leave them in a better place. And then, like I mentioned before in the pod, if they are that person in the group space that holds a standard higher, you've then done your job, and the fitness industry starts to snowball and get better, so to speak, instead of someone thinking, oh, that person's not doing that right, I'll just do that the same as them. And then that lowers the standard in that fashion. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah. You can be a force for good just by keeping yourself to a high standard. Yeah, which is something. An
inspiration.
Or hashtag goals, as Gen Z might call it. I think we'll close it out there. Short, sharp, informational, and incredibly entertaining. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for listening. Subscribe, etc. We should be on Spotify as well, so follow us on there too. Maybe we're I hope that wasn't the camera just turning off, but maybe
I think it was.
No, it was. Well, we'll keep talking. Anyway, thanks for listening. Subscribe. Yeah, let's get a Patreon going, paid membership next time.
Bye.